Hello, Virgo. This is your horoscope for January 2026. This is great for Virgo sun, moon, and rising sign. Wow, you're having a rare cosmic reset button of epic proportions in the house of romantic love, fertility, children, art, creativity, and entrepreneurship. And it's going to be an epic change in the life direction and all of those things. Well, at the same time, on a very practical note, there is a lot of focus on romance, fun, pleasure in the month of January, as well in the second half of the month, a move towards your attention going to success in the work environment. We're going to break down this month week by week for you in our 25 minutes or so together today. If you're new to my channel, you're so very welcome. My name is Lori Lothian, and I am a Western tropical zodiac astrologer. And I love to help you time your best month of January using these tools to give you navigational guidance. If you like to time the entirety of 2026 with a little bit more ease and flow, then maybe you'd like to get my 2026 2+ hour video for your sign, plus a PDF guidebook that's 26 pages long. If you want to buy the bundle, 12 videos, more than 24-hour video content, 24 hours, it's below as well. That way you can listen for Sun, Moon, Rising, share with friends and family. It makes a great digital stocking stuffer. And if you would like to buy just your one sign, that's fine too. That's $22. It's in the description box below my video. And if you like this kind of content, like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. Now, I want to share something with you as well. And I want to tell you that I have a membership community here now, and I'm really loving connecting in my live streams on the weekends with my members and putting members only content out. So check the join button down below. Love to see you there. So guys, I have really been looking forward to 2026 because we are going to experience the kind of energy that we haven't seen since 1994, 95. And before that, with the Venus stuff, 2022. So there's a huge kind of like rare energetic shift for each of us. And we begin to ignite ignition, starting pistol in the month of January. And as well, Neptune's moving into the sign of Aries, which is a really important change of energy for 14 years. And we're really beginning to feel, we had a taste of it last year, what that might be. I'm going to show you the chart so we can go through the story bit by bit. And did I toothpaste? Did I like, and I like lipstick on my teeth. And we're going to go through this together. So let's get going. Yeah, I'm just really cash, plus I'm autistic. So hang in there with me and like and subscribe, please. And check everything about me in my description box below. Everything below is in the description box below. I know sometimes people are going, where's the description box? It's underneath the video. Click the more button. Okay, so first things first. I'm recording this way early for my Patreon community, like December 19th, and they get this well ahead of the time you guys get this at the end of the month of December. So you might check me out there. But let's talk about you. First of all, it's an elephant in the room, right? You've got the South Node transiting through your sign since January 11th of 2025, completing up in July of 26. So this has been asking you to, really change who you are in the world, like let go, surrender, release, identity. If you're listening for your sun, it's your career matters. And the true you in the simulation, like the game player. If you're listening for your moon as a Virgo, then your moon is your mind and emotions, but also connected to home and home base and your domicile and where you live. And then, of course, if you're listening to this today or whenever for your rising sign, it's your simulation avatar, right? The sun is the game player, the rising sign is the avatar, but the avatar is circumstantially very sensitive to life changes in the story of your life. So that's a useful place to go. But there's a lot going on. Virgo suns is it time to release and surrender a career path. Virgo moons, your emotional and mental junk in the trunk, let it go, or also just let go of where you're living. And Virgo rising, you've been asking yourself since January 25, should I let go of this identity? This form no longer fits, right? All kinds of I ams, right? I'm a hard worker. I'm a wife. I'm a, whatever. Whatever you call yourself, you're letting it go. You're surrendering. So backdrop story is important for you because this is such an intense energy as it is for the Pisces with the North Node. So against the backdrop of that, here we go bit by bit through the month of January. In the first week of January, you're coming into, this will be New Year's Eve and the January 1st, Mercury, who's like ideas, communication, messages in a square to Neptune, which can be a significant long-term partner in your life, a love partner. This will be a confusion of communication. In fact, hopefully not a manipulation, but there will be something going on. It's not so easy on New Year's Eve day, New Year's Eve, the 31st and January 1st. And be careful here because, Mercury is also not good for detail and sometimes he can be confabulatory. So an important conversation may be wanting to be had the New Year's Eve, the day after New Year's, and there may be some challenges around the conversation and some uncertainty and some confusion about something with your partner. It might be a hard conversation as well. Squaring Saturn. If you don't have a partner, then you may have some confusion around a legal contract connected to real estate. But then we move forward and that's done and we can get out of that and into the next story. So Venus is the goddess of pleasure and she is the goddess of love and money and what we desire. And as we begin the month, we see that she is traveling through the sign of Capricorn, like she's been here since December 24th. And it's opening up doors of pleasure, life enjoyment, romantic love, leisure travel for many, many people who are a Virgo rising. You might have noticed that after the 24th of December and this lasts till January 16th, these themes are prominent for you. And it's a fertility transit. This is often where people can get pregnant, you or your partner, or your children could get pregnant as well. And with Uranus in the 9th house, unexpectedly pregnant. But life is about to do what it does, and you just have to roll with it. Or your, children having children, unexpectedly being a grandparent. But having this energy here, December 24th to January 16th, it's also not just about that. What's really exciting and what's really amazing is that Venus will go into the heart of the sun on January the 6th. That means she's going to die in the sun's heart and get new mission instructions for your life because the sun is headquarters. And what that means is that she's purifying. So you could purify from pleasures that aren't good for you, detox, I would say dry Jan, that would be good for you as well. And so then she moves into this purification mode and now boom, she's with the sun at 16 degrees of Capricorn. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising, 16 degrees, sun, moon, or rising. Of course, it's going to be much more focused and laser focused on you. 3 degrees on either side of that, 13 to 19, but all Virgos feel it. So one thing about this is that she's resetting your love life. There's no two ways about it. She's in her house of joy, pleasure, fun, play, sex, and romance. And she's a goddess of romance. Other than that, she could also give you some lucky breaks with winning the lottery. I know, but Jupiter's in the house of windfalls, witnessing it. And this Cazimi, her heart of the sun day, is a good day, January 6th, to buy a lottery ticket. Sorry, it just is. I'm not making promises. I'm just giving you a tip. So there's that. Otherwise, it's also just about a reset button that will dominate your life over the 10 months that follows January 6th with a new approach to love and romance. If you are single, this could bring in a new romantic partner. If you're with someone, it could be more intense, more beautiful energy, or maybe fertility and pregnancy, for example. If you want to start a creative project or an entrepreneurial business, this is the spot for that to happen. And in the 10 months that follow, you might discover a new artistic talent, a new creative project, a new entrepreneurial business idea, etc. Venus here, however, bless her soul, right? She is going to be able to give you the goods over 4 years, all the way through 2030. However, you'll definitely see by October what this is really for. She's invisible until mid-February, early to mid-February. Therefore, it's possible you won't see the results, but I could say you get pregnant during this time and you'll find out you're pregnant in mid-February when she's visible. Or you could be wanting to go on a date with somebody and you do, and then you go, hey, by mid-February, we know this romance is going to hold. This is a real thing. So there's stuff about that looks really good for all of those themes for you here in January. And we're talking about January 6th. If you want to go historically back in time, she was resetting the same part of your chart, 2014, same time of year. Let's say December, January 2014, 2018, and 2022 in the 5th house of long-term committed love and romance. Okay, 1, 2, 3. We keep hitting the reset button in this part of your chart. Now, one thing about this energy is that it's also connected to this stellium that's forming here. And there's a lot of energy going on because Mars will follow suit and also hit the heart of the sun for a reset. But along the way, what happens is that, and look at that beautiful triple conjunction. On the 8th of the month, we're going to notice that the cosmic lovers are perfectly conjunct. That is really important because if you're looking for a relationship, that's going to bring in a necessarily positive and super powerful new love story within approximately a year. If that's not what you're looking for, this has a lot to do with passion, being motivated, inspired to create desires that you want to achieve through action. So your action decisions and your desires and your yearnings, Venus and Mars, are really integrated here. And there's a possibility, therefore, over the next couple of years that you're really going to manifest the perfect romance, the most amazing business opportunity through entrepreneurship, the most incredible creative output you've ever done as an artist or creative type. Okay, you get the vibe there. I want to mention that then Mars is next in the heart of the sun. And when Mars hits the heart of the sun, right here at 19 degrees of Capricorn on January the 9th, what we're going to notice is a beginning of something new that will take a full 2 years to unfold. And you may not have visible evidence about what it's for until March. Now, there's things to do here that have to do with going in a new direction when it comes to creativity, art, romance, the use of your natural talents and gifts, to some degree, possibly education, as well as conception and baby making storylines. Normally just Mars here would give me pause because he's the god of getting rid of the fertility, but Venus is the goddess of having the fertility. And therefore I will say that it's definitely got a lot for youngins that listening to me today, or people who have kids who might have kids, to do with major decisions regarding children, having children, not having children, having a child, having a pregnancy, keeping the pregnancy or not, that kind of stuff. You're going to feel the energy of the unfoldment over 2 years, but it does go back for the older Virgos to 1994, 95. Both of those entire calendar years involve this reset energy, just like this one here is going to involve January of 26 to 2028 January. So you will probably be able to go back, some of you, and go, what happened around the 5th house themes that I've outlined? Fertility, love, romance, creativity, entrepreneurship, that stuff. It's possible, or winning money, right? That would be more the Venus piece, though, but you never know with Mars. And if you go back further in time, and you go back to all of 1979 and 1980, that was another time that this reset button occurred in your 5th house. All right, so those are comparative notes, and the sky is never the same twice. What's most amazing to me is the witnessing of Jupiter across the way in his exaltation. In essence, Jupiter is providing a blessing. Now, one thing you can see is that as Jupiter does this entire first 9-10 days of January, there's forming a little bit of a red triangle. And that's going to ask you to heal some deep wounds connected to your own lack of self-worth, betrayal, abandonment, and shame, shared resources with another person, money wounds to do with inheritances. There's a definite opening up of some good fortune, some pennies from heaven, and some healing of financial wounds that you've had in the past. It could be also about spousal support and alimony, or just the energy of vibrant positivity around shared monies with other people. So you're going to do a little bit of healing in that first 9 days at a psychological and spiritual level. As we continue into the narrative, and I want you to look how beautiful the weight of this triple conjunction is. Mercury's watching it on the sidelines, also invisible. This is an invisible parade of planets. But also he's Mr. News and Mr. Information. So look very much around, let's say, January the 5th to the 10th, when all of these conjunctions with the sun are occurring. Look for some news, right? News about winning a lottery. Here's the ballot. Here's a ticket. Here's your ticket. Get that ticket in that first 9 days of January. Look for news about your children. That's quite interesting and important and powerful. Look for information or news from your romantic partner, that kind of thing. If you're an artistic creative, look for news for book publishing deals, art deals being signed up, getting some positive things maybe percolating here. So that's the first 9 days of January. But then we're going to move on, and we're talking about January, let's say 7th, 8th, 9th. We'll start around there through until about the 14th of the month. What we're going to see at that time is something completely different. We're going to notice that these following things are occurring as we get through. Well, actually, let me just say, let's move us to more of the middle of the month. Let's just watch what happens. We're not really that concerned with the moon, by the way. 12th. Okay, here we go. We're at the 13th. So we're still dominated by this fifth house story. And so the main effort and energy here is all about the romantic life. There's a possibility around January the 13th, you might have a shocking, sudden surprise connected to an opportunity, connected to travel, connected to romantic travel, connected to a breakthrough in a social media environment, connected to a project you put out there, an unexpected breakthrough, a bit of information, maybe even connected to windfalls and pennies from heaven. Yeah, I know. And that would be around January 12th or 13th. It looks exciting for the most part. It looks a little bit lucky. And then we're going to go into the next story. So between January 14th and about the 22nd, right, that time of that's mid-month to the 22nd of the month, there's going to be a beautiful formation that continually builds up strength right here. And that's that triangle called a miniature grand trine. And yes, to some extent, don't look at the kite. That's just a moving ascendant. This is a story that's about luck, opportunity, growth, expansion, ease, and flow. It's very soft, but very fortunate. And it begins to occur around the 14th by Venus leading the way. Venus will be in a trine to Uranus. Venus will be in a sextile to Neptune and Saturn. So the idea here is something good is trying to happen regarding your romantic life, your significant relationships, your creative partnerships, your idea that you might want to fly high in a great success story connected to education, getting accepted at your ideal school, traveling to foreign lands with a romantic partner, getting a marriage proposal. That these are the kinds of things that could shock the bejesus out of you. Yeah, I know it sounds funny, but Mercury's in the mix and he rules your 10th house of marriages, weddings, and stuff like that. So there's a lot going on that's going to be positive here, and it's going to keep going on and on because after Venus lights us up the triangle, Mars will do that next. When Venus is lighting up this beautiful triangle of positivity for you, beginning on the 14th, it's a good thing to remember that she is the ruler of your 9th house, which is publications, podcasting, travel to foreign lands, religious and spiritual community, book publishing, and something good is happening, something surprising is happening. She's involved in it. And, Uranus is like taking orders from Venus. There's a bit of a wealth star here called Algol. So you might come into some unexpected money. There's a sideways way. It could look like an inheritance from a father figure as one example, or just getting a big chunk of money from a family member, father figure in particular. The other thing that Venus can do is translate this goodness and this luck in the house of good fortune to your earnings and your possessions. So I'm thinking you might be coming into a little flashpoint of good money energy for you. So it somewhat surprises you. And also the good money could come through your partner or it could come through your work environment. All of those are true. So we like that vibe. But then what happens next is we get follow-up from the next person, which is the sun. So I said Mars, sun will get there first. Sun can't be invisible. Sun is always visible. So the sun now lights up the triangle. Venus is getting, moving into it. They're both working it. So you'll start to notice that the solar energy is going to add another flavor. It's going to add a highlight of some kind. Technically, the sun does rule your 12th house. So there can be some opportunities that are surprising to travel, maybe for a romantic or creative reason, to a distant shore and far off land to 12th house. And you might just say, yeah, I'm going to go on that unexpected journey. It sounds like it's a golden opportunity. There could also be some unexpected financial fortune coming through. Somebody in a hospital setting, or somebody in a far off foreign land. After the sun activates this story, ignore the kite. That's just the ascendant. We're going to move you back a few minutes here or hours. We want to get that Virgo ascendant back here. And then we're going to move into the Mars activation. So two things are happening at once on January the 18th. Uh-oh. Sorry. On January the 18th, we see that Mars is picking up the triangle while Venus has moved into a wealth yoga in your 6th house of work. Well, first things first, you're going to have a cazimi of Mercury here as well. So here's what I'm telling you. There's an auspicious turning point around January 18th. until the end of the month even, where you're going to come into some positive financial storylines connected to work, whatever your work is. We all have different work. Whatever you do for a living, whatever your livelihood is, it looks like an uptick of positive success beginning to emerge around January 18th. But at the same time, we see Mars, Mr. Action Decisions, exalted in Capricorn, beginning to take up the slack on the triangle of goodness and opening up some decision-making and action-taking energy, with the caveat that you may not be able to fulfill all of the decision and action outcomes until March, when he is indeed a visible planet in the middle of March. So it's almost like you're planting a decision seed that will fulminate or compel you to look at the long game. It could be a contract, an agreement, a legal agreement, something going on with a significant relationship partner in business or love, and decisions you need to make. But they're going to be fortunate, auspicious, surprising, and positive, because a sibling that is 2 younger than you belongs to the 5th house, and a sibling that is 3 younger than you or 3 older belongs to the 7th house, and a sibling that is 2 older than you belongs to the 9th house. All of these siblings might be in the mix of this story. For those of you who have siblings, they could also be positive things going on with those siblings in that birth order. Now, Mars and Mercury mean information that demands a decision. This is very good for commercial success as well. Should you be like marketing or selling something creative or entrepreneurial, and a really nice touch here of success around the 18th. Promoting, marketing, selling could be good going on here. Mars rules the 3rd house of all of your social media and marketing, selling, promoting, writing, communicating. There might be a nice touch here of some little boost of success with your audience marketplace or international exposure. But more importantly, this whole energy here, you have information now that helps inform major life turning point decisions, particularly connected to travel, foreign lands, long-term relationship, romance, fertility, children, childbirth, grandchildren. Those are some of the ideas I have for you. Now, you might just, while all of this intensity is going on, even feel a bit emotionally constrained with the moon here. But don't worry about it. This too shall pass on the 18th. As we go forward to January the 19th, right, we're looking at Venus really building up that wealth yoga. Now, this is going to mean that something wants to happen. Either you're going to fall madly in love with a profoundly intense relationship connected to a colleague, a coworker, boss, and work person, right? Or you're going to be seeing some kind of development of new potential for wealth and increased wealth in your work story. Now, don't forget, Venus and Pluto will join every year till 2044 here. They just started doing that a couple of years back, increasing your capacity through work to increase your wealth. If you have debt issues, like with credit cards and stuff, she's going to completely try to fix that as well. Now, as we continue to the 20th, now the sun is involved in this stellium. And that's why I said, as the month progresses, you move from fun, play, romance to getting very serious about your livelihood, your work, your debts, your pets, and your rental property. Now, this could be very much about getting something going on with a pet that's very important. There's a new moon here. And I did forget to mention that there is a new moon on this time frame right here. I believe I even forgot to mention the full moon at the beginning of the year. I apologize. On January the 18th, a new moon is a new beginning in the house of romance, sex, entrepreneurship, creative endeavors. Yes, in the 6 months that follows, there's not just a slight change here, there's a big one. If you're young enough to have children or grandchildren, if your kids can do that, this is that kind of signature for you. And it's a surprise. Okay, although I'm telling you ahead of time. Best laid plans, right? But this takes your focus to work, health, improving your health. And this stellium can't be ignored. So you're either really diving into a reset button in January 20th, getting to experience more health focus with Venus's support. She'll be here from January 17th to February 10th, or you're finding more pleasure in your work and more power in your work, maybe an up level, a promotion, more money. And then again, Venus is trying to help you do that with Pluto, January 17th to February 10th. And you're looking like you're powering up, because wait till we get Mercury here. That's important. Mercury will be in the heart of the sun on January 21st in the workhouse, ruling the career house. So whatever I can say, it's a cosmic download, divine mission reset button in the work environment, work health, but mostly this looks like work to me. Okay. Venus is trying to help you fix your food style. Whatever you put in your mouth. And the sun says, quit the addictions, eat healthy. There's very dry Jan all over this chart, but this could be even another level, a deeper movement towards digestive health and choosing foods that are better for you and eating and more balance. And this is a story that's going on really much more strongly for Venus's role after January 17th. So second half of the month-ish. And then when we get the sun in here, that's quit the addictions. And that's really happening around the 20th, 21st. If you have an animal, this isn't bad. I mean, Pluto doesn't mean death with Venus here. So it's too powerful for that. It could be a real feeling like it's time to get an animal. And you may be looking at pets, going to the pet store, looking with breeders, figuring it out. I can see that beginning to evolve for some of you here. Mercury in the heart of the sun will unfold roughly a 6-week reset button in the work health routines, office space, area of your life. So you can anticipate some new directions for yourself here for sure. And I think they're going to be primarily positive. There was a moon, I do apologize. There was a moon on January the 3rd in Cancer with Jupiter, which is the house of windfalls, pennies from heaven, and greater career gains. And then maybe the ability to make a dream come true, a long-range goal, a manifesting, or lucky favors or lucky breaks from a sibling one older, or friends, benefactors, and allies who really want to help you. And that energy of that Jupiter exaltation and the moon conjunct indicates a fruiting and a harvesting of greater professional success connected to reputation and actual earnings. And because Jupiter's retrograde, it could bring you work from your past, okay? Some job opportunities or people from the past connected to your professional direction or supporting you to succeed, all right, in some way. That is a luscious full moon, so it completes or fulfills something, the full moon on January 3rd, that began 6 months earlier. And often this is just about your professional stuff, although it can be an opportunity that comes from a friend or it connects you to a friendship, particularly someone from your past. Opportunity through friends, benefactors, and allies connected to likely career matters. Now, as we continue forward in the sky, right, we need to get into the idea that Mars is about to cross the barrier and leave behind your 5th house, where you probably had a lot of sexy, hot romance with Mars and Venus there. And now we're moving on. So by January 23rd, look at how much attention you're paying to health, work, pets, rental properties. Like you're really in the thick of it. And it's also kind of this kind of stellium. It's like everything is lopsided in your life. You're all about the work. With Mars here in his joy, it could be the onset from around January 23rd, 24th to March the 2nd of a kind of workaholism. Like you're going to be driving to succeed in something connected to work, or you're really picking up a huge amount of passion and energy regarding exercise and health improvements and cutting and severing your dietary habits that are bad, ending that addiction for good. So even if it's dry Jan is supposed to be January 1st, it looks like you're really launching into more focus here for that part of your story. And one thing I think about this stellium here is just be careful you don't burn out. I noticed that when Mars is here, people work really, really hard. He's in his joy, but you might overdo it. So, just giving you like January 23rd, 24th to March the 2nd is a time where you might go gung-ho and then be exhausted. And Mars will rise in your 7th house in mid-March, and that's going to be a very positive direction for your long-term relationship and or the partner you're with, if the relationship is already solid. All righty. As we move into the stories following up, we see that Mars will sextile, Neptune. I forgot to show you that. Mars is talking to Neptune. Remember that confusion on New Year's Eve, right? Or the day before and day of New Year's Day. Okay, that was back then. Now we have this energy of Mars right here. This is going to be on the 22nd, 23rd, sextiling Neptune. So there is a clearing of some confusion to do with romantic loves, your long-term partnerships, creative projects that could have legal contracts involved. There's a clearing or a new understanding where the confusion is no longer going to be there. And then Venus. Oh, Pluto. So Pluto and Mars are co-joining. They start to get hooked up on January 24th. They're going to be in a connection to each other on January 27th. There's a lot of power here. You would use the word unstoppable, superpowered willpower, determination beyond the mortal level. This is work. You're working. You're actually enjoying it because there's Venus, but there's something to do with work and enjoyment. Otherwise, you're so powered out, unstoppable willpower to quit the addiction. Sun rules the house of addictions, to move your dietary habits into something completely different. Like you're doing a just like a super cleanse or detox, and nothing's going to stop you now. Nothing will stop you. You've got like this kind of willpower determination that is like Superman or Superwoman level. So that's good, but that's also be careful because you're unstoppable and you're working, and some of you might be all burned out. We also want to note that there's good news coming at the end of it all. Mercury and Venus conjoining each other. Mercury news, Venus good. Good news coming through your sky January 29th. It might be a raise or a promotion or a better office, or you got the job you applied for. As they come together, the moon will be in your 10th house, highlighting the possibility of something very focal to your 10th house of career, reputation, looking like work and good news. Venus rules money. Again, we can get more raises and promotions here for you. And it's interesting too, because that lunation that's going to be highlighting your 10th house, right? In terms of its phasal quality, it is going to be, boom, that would be full. We go back. It will be about full. Yeah, so it's not full. Hang on, I'm going to figure this out. It's a quarter moon, still a quarter moon. Yeah. So it's a waxing quarter moon, the first half moon. So that's often a lunation where you really want to push something new out from the dormant incubating stage into a realization of, oh, here we are, we're making it happen. How do I continue to make this thing successful? And it's about your reputation and your career. So I don't care if you're retired. What are you doing in the world that people watch you do? That's what I mean, for example, right? But it is connected to your work or livelihood or service that you do in the world. It's connected to your money. So there is this like nice little Artha triangle going on. And that's going to be felt by you on the 29th. Good news. You might see the good news come in on the 28th, 29th, or 30th of January. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. I'm not the only channel complaining about the subs lately in general with the AI slop, but oh my God, December has been a hot mess. Maybe people are too busy watching Candace Owens. I don't blame them. And Erica Kirk and all the other debacles, the Epstein files, that getting your astrology down hasn't been the priority. I get it. So if you want to definitely consider hitting that like button and subscribing, more importantly, it would help, because I'm going to hit the record low subscribers in the history of this channel, I think, in the month of December at the rate I'm going. My All Signs bundle will be dropping this bundle's dropping at the end of December, hopefully getting out of the Christmas time disaster. And underneath my video, Patreon community, Substack, where I write about world astrology, untethered, unplugged, and it's free, and more. Everything about me is underneath the video, and I appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful month of January.